Good morning. How's everybody doing on this fine day? This is Mary from Camaj Fiber Arts, and this is my Brother Deluxe drum carder. And I thought I would come on live and card a little bit and show you it because it's a beautiful carder. Yeah, it's nice. Oh, I'm redoing their user manuals. So they're going to be really pretty, really colorful, give you lots of great information. I'm also going to be making videos for them on how to clean it, how to card. And I thought I would come on today because it's kind of a slow day. I was supposed to get my twins from school, my grand twins from school, and one of them has a sore throat. So I'm alone today. I really look forward to Fridays because I get to see them. I miss those little guys. I miss those little guys. If you can hear me okay, someone comment. Let me know if you can hear me. And then we'll get started. Just make a comment that you can hear me. So the features of the Brother Deluxe, it has a burnishing brush attached to it, which is really nice. And you just loosen these, put it down, make sure it's sort of buried into this drum here and give it a twist. And then when you turn, it burnishes the fibers down for you. You might also want to use a burnishing brush to pack in a little bit more. Yes, thank you very much, Karen. You might want to use a burnishing brush to pack in a little bit more so you can get, because some people like to get a 4-ounce bat. This will make a 4-ounce bat if you burnish along the way. So it has this little brush, which is really nice. Not all of Brother's carders have this, but this one does. But check out this feature. I don't know if all of them have it because I don't have them all. But check this out. Look at this little tray. This is pretty cool. So the whole thing comes out. So it catches all the dirt, because I was just carding, so there is a little bit of dirt there. It catches all the dirt and little second cuts and stuff, so it doesn't get all over your table. You can just vacuum that up or throw it away, but that's a really cool feature. That's a feature. And I think I'll do another video later, because I don't have the tools at the moment, how to adjust these drums. It's super, super easy. This is the carding drum. When you put the fiber through the feed-in tray, this cards the fiber, opens it up, and then deposits it on this drum. So you sort of think of this drum as a holding drum or a storage drum until you take off your bat. So it's pretty cool. The closer the drums, the more carding action you're going to have, right? The more further away the drums, the more it's not going to card as much, so you make it more of an artsy bat. So I decided to get some really weird colors, really weird colors, right? And this is a 90 TPI. So I thought, let me just card some colors and then we can maybe put it through a second time and see how much blending we get. Oh, did I say it's a 90 TPI? So what that means is when you take a square inch of this carding cloth, they count the number of tines or pins within that square inch. And that is your teeth per inch or tines per inch. And why does that matter? Because when your tines or pins are closer, the blending capabilities are a little bit better. And the colors, when you're blending colors, because the pins are closer together, they actually look, well, say you're blending colors on the drum carder, it'll make it look better because it's more of an optical illusion. Yeah, anyway. We're just gonna, why does this remind me of those black licorice candies? I don't know why. Okay, check this out. So I'm a little bit close to the edge and the fiber's falling off the edge of the drum carder. So what's gonna happen, I'm glad when I do mistakes because then I can show you guys. It's always a learning thing. Ooh, and it's caught in here. Oh, that's not good. Okay, let me pull this up. Even though I'm a master carder, I still make mistakes. See, it's kind of caught in here, and it's going to get caught in this gear down here. And what's going to happen is if that gear gets seized up with fiber, you're going to have a hard time. So I'll also show you how to clean it. So just kind of watch the fiber close to the edges, So now I'm going to do the blue on this side and go the other way. So my year-long extravaganza spinning and fiber workshop is in full swing, We are on module 2, and module 2 is spinning consistent yarns, looking at plybacks, determining how thick your yarn should be for a certain yarn and plyback, how to document your plybacks, and why does that even matter that you have to document your plybacks. Module 3 is done, but it won't be out till March 1st. I'm going to move this up because that's kind of noisy. We'll just use the burnishing brush. Module 3 is all about plying and the fundamentals of plying, what matters in your plying to make it consistent. It's an eye opener. Spinner, or if you can't seem to get things right or can't seem to get yarn consistent, things like that, man, join the workshop. It's really, really awesome. And then in April, let's see, March, oh my gosh, it's like the whole year. April is going to be scouring, because after that will be woolen and worsted, and I wanted to do the scouring before those modules, because it's going to have a lot to do with your woolen and worsted prep, is the way your fiber is scoured or looked at. I'll be going through a lot of the things in the book, so we'll sort of use the book as my book as a guide for that module. It will not be as intense as my scouring certification course, but it's going to have a ton of information, and you will walk away with so much knowledge about scouring. Crazy. It's all science, man. It's all science. Okay, so now we're going to use our burnishing brush. So say I didn't have this brush on here, I would burnish along the way through every layer to sort of pack that fiber down in the pins. Yeah, scouring is all science, and spinning is all math. Math, math, math. I go through some of the math of spinning, but in the spinning and fiber workshop, but I don't go into it so much to make it crazy. I go into it enough so you can spin consistent yarn, right? Because that's all anybody wants to do, is learn how to spin consistently for a project and not fight with their wheel and not fight with their fiber. I remember when I first got my wheel, oh my gosh, I wanted to throw it through the wall. I wanted to throw it through the wall. And in the day, it was about 11, I think I started about 11 years ago. There was hardly anything, there's hardly any books on the market, or at least the ones I knew about, hardly any YouTube videos. So I watched what I could, I read what I could, and learned from that. And then, of course, I'm experimenting. And then I went back and started reading the books again and doing a lot of research on papers that were published from big mills or things like that. But yeah, so I try to present information that is based on sound research, because honestly, that's the only thing we can go by is research. And if you have found something that works for you, research it and publish it. I mean, that's what I say. Okay, so when you look at this big drum, okay, so this is about as full as I'm going to do it, but you could do it more because there's a lot more room. You're going to find the seam where the cloth meets. And in this seam, there's no pins. You'll find this on every single drum carder you have. Some may have a metal piece like this, some may have a wooden trough, but they always have this little area where you're going to take off the drum or the bat. You don't want to cut this, because what would happen if you cut this, the fibers have a certain staple length, right? And if you cut it, you may end up with these little short pieces because you don't know where the staple length is in this section. So you want to just pull it off. This is a doffer tool. You're going to put it underneath, and I just do small sections first because I don't want it to hurt my shoulders. If this was really thick, you're going to do very thin layers first. And then you see there's still more. You're going to come back and do that next layer. So it doesn't matter how many layers you pull off, but if this carder was full and you go under all of these, you better be He-Man strong, because it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. And a lot of times I'll use both hands and I pull up like this, but see how it just separates? That's pretty nice. Try to keep this doffer tool. See, it's a little hard to pull up, so I'm going to use both hands so I don't stress out my shoulder. You want to keep this pointy tip off this rubber base because it's going to poke holes in it. And if you start poking holes in this, it could come apart and those pins can fall out. So be extra careful. You pay a lot of money for these. And Brother has some very nicely priced carders, and they're really, 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 I mean, this is so sturdy. This is beautiful, beautiful workmanship and beautiful, what do you call the person that makes it? I got a brain fart. Okay, so to take this off, I'm going to be carding this again. So I really don't care what it looks like. If I were selling it, I would want it to look really pretty. But for the sake of carding it again, I don't care. This is a flicker brush from Brother Drum Carder, and I might just sort of flick it off like this. And then this way, see, it's pulling the bat kind of apart, but I don't care because, again, I'm carding this twice. Whoops. But see how it takes all the, well, most of the fiber off the big drum. So that's a plus. And then I could pull it off. Okay. Now let's card this again. So I've got a pretty big bat. I'm going to strip it in half. And I'm going to strip it, oh, maybe like in thirds. And then I'm going to take this piece. Fiber tools aren't cheap. No, they're not cheap. And then I'm going to take this piece and sort of open it up. There's some things you can use that, like fiber tools, you could use a dog flicker brush for this brush. You could use a flicker brush, a dog flicker brush. It's at the dollar store for like a couple bucks. That's cheap. You could use the hairbrush cleaner. And I'm going to show you how to use this when you clean it. It's like $11. And for your doffer tool, some people use a rod that, what are those people called? Anyway, it's like a really, really strong rod. And you don't want to use a knitting needle because it will bend it because you're putting so much pressure through it. So, and Dewana, I think there's a Facebook page called Fiber Hacks or something like that. So yeah, I know they're not cheap. I know. And it's taken me a long time to gather up all my tools. It's been 11 years. And that's why you want to take care of them, because they are so expensive. So take care of your tools. Don't abuse your carder by stuffing a lot of fiber through. Okay, here's another piece. I'm just going to open it up. So if I see people kind of doing those sandwich things. So here's the thing. Can you see this is pretty thin? If I stack up a lot of fiber and try to really muscle through it, what's happening is these pins are taking the brunt of the force, and those pins are going to bend. So be careful. If you want to learn more about drum carding, more than I'm showing here today, I have an online drum carding course that shows everything about a drum carder and how to card without neps, how to test your wool, everything, how to make art bats. I mean, just all sorts of really cool stuff. So if you're really serious about drum carding and you're having issues, why reinvent the wheel when the wheel's already been documented? And not just by me, by other fiber artists too, for sure. Okay. All right, so let's put another one through. I also have a class on blending colors on the drum carder, where I use the color wheel, and we do primaries and secondaries and tertiaries, and really beautiful, beautiful outcome. Really pretty. So you can make your own custom colors if you wanted to. That's what's really cool about the drum carder. And if you don't want to dye anything, you can just buy red, blue, and yellow, or cyan, magenta, and yellow, and card your own colors. And by carding your own colors, it really gives it this depth and movement. It's really, really pretty. Okay, things are building up on the liquor in. I go through that in the class of why that happens and how to avoid it. All right, let's see. I can't tell you everything here. I can't tell you all my secrets. I'm gonna burnish it down. Okay, now let me show you. So you can see how much this is blended with the 90 TPI. So those are pretty solid colors. And this is pretty nicely blended. So let me take this off, and I'm gonna show you how to take the bat off nicely and cleanly. So, you know, it looks pretty if you want to sell it, or if you're just one of those people like me. I want my bat to look nice and pretty because it just makes me happy. It makes me happy. Okay, so look at how much blending. Oh my gosh, wait, we got to show you what colors they were. So this is what I started with. That's what I started with. And this is how much blending went on. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that. All right, so there's a couple things we can do. Well, I'm just going to show you the way that I like to do it. So this is a bat. Let's see. Can you tell me the difference between the regular and the deluxe brother drum carder? Lisa asked. Probably just the base. I'll have to look at that because this carder, the handle actually clears the table and you can put it in the middle of the table. I'll have to look at that. It might be that you have to clamp it to the edge of the table and it might not be as high. Your next tool is a drum carder. Yay! You know, and here's the thing too. I tell people drum carders are pretty much the same. They all have a liquor in, they all have a handle, they all have a belt, they all have a big main drum. It's you. You are the one that needs to learn how to card correctly because the drum carder does what a drum carder does. It's the user that needs the knowledge to be able to card correctly. So that's that. Anyway, this is a bat lifter that this came with my Brother Super Card. I'm not sure if they sell these separately, but honestly, you could probably use just 2 dowels, really, or 2 big knitting needles but they have to go across the drum and have a little area near the edge. So they have to be pretty big. All right, so for this particular one, let me show you how this one works. You just unroll this, and then I bring this up. So I've already separated my bat, and I'm going to slip it underneath. So it's underneath there. Make that all nice and pretty. And then this goes over it, just like a waterfall. And then I'm going to take this second dowel and trap it. See, I don't see why you couldn't just use 2 dowels. And then I'm going to hold both dowels and turn towards me. And as fiber if it gets stuck on the drum, I might stop and just pull it up. But the trick, here is the trick. Keep your fiber close to the main drum and it will come off easily, whether you're using your hands or dowels or something else. Okay, so this is stuck. So I'm going to pull it up and put it up there nice and neatly. You can even use your little flicker brush if you want to. Also, another thing is, okay, so there is the bat. You want the base. Well, let me show you the bat first, then we'll talk more about that. Okay, so there's the bat. Look how pretty that is. Look how pretty and smooth. Look at, oh my gosh, look at that. That's really pretty. Fold it up. There you go. And there's your bat. What I was going to say is you want to make sure that your first layer is wool or something hardy, because if you start with silk or bamboo or something like that, it's going to be really hard to get off these the base of the carder. So use something that's a little oomphy, and then you can add your other stuff. But look at the difference in that. Look at that, and that's what it was. I've used a lot of carders, and I love a lot of different carders. But again, I could do just about anything on any carder because I have the fundamentals and the knowledge of carding correctly. Okay, so let me show you how to clean this, and it's super, super easy. Always clean between each bat because, you know, stuff gets stuck and I don't want it infecting, I call it infecting, the other bat. So if I card a white bat and I'm doing a black bat, I don't want white pieces of fiber in my black or vice versa. So I look at really big drum carders in mills. It gives me so much anxiety about cleaning them. I'm like, how do you guys clean that thing? Oh my goodness. So this is what I'm going to use to clean. I'm going to use that flicker brush. I'm going to use the hairbrush cleaner. And I'm going to use a porcupine quill. You could also use either hemostats or a long needle-nosed, not pliers, tweezers, because you want to get into these little areas on this side. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, if you have a brush, you need to lift it up, get it out of the way. One of the tricks about cleaning drum carders is you want to brush parallel to the base of the drum carder. You don't want to brush across, because what happens is these are pretty darn stiff, and these are going to start loosening these pins over a period of time. And again, take care of your carder. Loose pins, bent pins, missing pins, it's just going to cause issues. And then if you want to sell it later, you have a product that's not perfect. So take care of your stuff. The hairbrush cleaner has more tines that are very flexible, and sometimes I do go sideways, but I still try to stay parallel to the edge of the drum carder. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is I'm going to clean my liquor in first, because when I clean the liquor in, it's going to deposit, or it could deposit, fiber on the main drum. So if I clean this drum first, then this one, then it gets in here, I got to clean it again. So I'm taking a step out. Now I'm taking my flicker, I'm turning it this way, so the end is on the flicker, or the liquor in drum. Now I'm going to card it like I'm making a bat. And as I turn the handle, I'm flicking up along the side of the liquor in. And it took off all that fiber. And then this is what comes in handy. I'm going to take this little hairbrush cleaner and voila. Instead of trying to pull the fiber off these pins, because sometimes they stick you. Okay, now I'm going to move. I was here. Now I'm going to move it over to the middle and flick up. I usually do it faster than this, but I'm slowing down so you can see it. I can probably clean a carder in 60 seconds flat. And then clean that. Voila. And then we're going to move it over to the other side. Now, there's a lot of reasons that this liquor in fills up with fiber. Again, it's in my drum carding class. There's many reasons. And once you know, and once you can problem solve and all that stuff, man, you know exactly what needs to be done. Okay, now we're going to clean this big drum. So I have to stand behind the drum carder. I'm laying the flicker brush down this way. Now I'm going to turn the opposite way. And as I turn, I'm going to brush towards me until I get back to where I started. And I usually start here so I know where I'm at. Look at all that fiber that was in that drum. Lots of fiber that could get into the next drum that might not be the right color. Okay, so I started here. I'm going to move over here to the middle. And you can go fast if you want. And I'm going to move over this way and do this section. Now, some people like to use a vacuum cleaner. You can use a vacuum cleaner on that if you like. Just kind of watch the plastic if you're using a tube or a hose on there. You don't want to bend the pins with the hose. Okay, now I'm going to go over one more time with my hairbrush cleaner. And that Brother flicker brush actually does a pretty nice job. Because with other flicker brushes, especially a dog flicker brush, I mean, it does a really good job. I don't think I've ever had nothing in this hairbrush cleaner. That's crazy. And then I'll use the hairbrush cleaner to clean this. And then, where is my porcupine quill? Oh, there it is. Okay, and now I'm going to take my porcupine quill and kind of dig into these little areas here, because this is where it can seize up. And I've already got some fiber in there because I kind of forgot about this little place. Let me see if I can show you what I'm digging out. And you can use metal on this because it's going to be metal on metal. It doesn't matter. So there's potential problems in that gear. It will seize it up. And Brother told me that he's had people take them apart to clean them. I'm like, you know, if they clean them along the way, they don't need to take it apart. I mean, I don't know if I want to take this thing apart, right? I mean, it was built by an engineer, and I don't know if I can get it, if I would get it back together. Okay. Did you know Brother took over Patrick Green's business, and they make the Super Card is the Patrick Green Triple Drum Carder, and Brother also is making this gigantic multi-drum carder. I love this carder. Been using it for a couple of weeks and worth every penny. That's from Jade's Creative Corner. Yes, not very expensive. I mean, what was it, $500-$600, something like that. I just don't know the prices off the top of my head, though I am a dealer. And actually, if you buy one of the carders from me on my website at CamajFiberArts.com, I'll put the link in the description below. When this is done, you get the carding class for free once your carder is delivered to you. So yeah, so that's everything about the Brother drum carder. And you can use the same principles on other carders that you have in your home. If you don't have the Brother, don't worry about it. You can use the same principles on the drum carder. Oh, and in the class, I use the Strouch and I use the Brother Super Card. It will go across the board to any drum carder, Clemis and Clemis, anything, any carder that you have, the drum carding course will be applicable. All right, I think that's it, man. Yay, I think that's it. If you're in Texas, man, stay warm. Oh my gosh, I can't believe what is going on there. What is going on? I mean, we've lost power with hurricanes, but I mean, I'll take the heat over freezing cold. I lived in Ohio. That I know freezing cold's crazy, crazy. This one is the one I got paid. Oh, $530 for the 90 TPI. See, $530. I mean, this is a very sturdy, well-made carder. It's really beautiful. So if you're looking for a drum carder and you don't want to spend $1,000 or more, think of Brother. So, hey, thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. And I will put the link to my school and my website and all that stuff. So you guys have a beautiful day. Bye now.